Before the interstate, before the container ship, before any of it, somebody had to move it. The steel, the grain, the tanks, the timber. Somebody had to show up with a truck big enough, tough enough, and built tough enough to carry what the country needed. These are the 8 heavy haulers that moved what no one else could, and in doing so, moved America itself. From the open highways of the Midwest to the industrial corridors of the Northeast. From the farms of the Great Plains to the ports on both coasts. These trucks didn't just carry loads. They carried the weight of a nation that was still being built. Number 8 through number 1. Let's get into it. By the early 1970s, America's freight network was expanding faster than the roads could handle. Weight limits, bridge laws, and tight urban delivery corridors meant trucking companies needed something different, something that could haul heavy and still fit where conventional long-nose rigs couldn't go. General Motors answered with the Astro 95, a cab-over design, cab-over engine, that put the driver right up front, right over the front axle. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't the truck drivers dreamed about, but it showed up every day and it worked. The Astro 95 became the workhorse of regional freight operations across the country. Manufacturing plants in Ohio, distribution centers in Illinois, loading docks from New Jersey to California. Wherever a company needed maximum trailer length within legal limits, the Astro 95 was the answer. It didn't get the songs written about it, but without it, the shelves stayed empty. Chicago built a lot of things, and one of them was a truck that the Midwest couldn't live without. The Diamond T921 came out of the Diamond T Motor Car Company at a time when American industry was running at full steam. Steel mills in Indiana, grain elevators in Kansas, factories in Michigan that never slept. All of it needed to move, and the 921 moved it. That long nose, that distinctive hood, truckers recognized it from a mile away, and they trusted it. Independent operators ran Diamond T921s from Chicago to Kansas City, from Minneapolis to St. Louis, over and over, year after year. It was the truck of the independent hauler, the man who owned his rig, worked his own route, and answered to nobody but the load he was carrying. Diamond T is gone now, but in the 1950s and early 60s, that name on the hood meant you were serious about freight. International Harvester had been building machines for American farms since before the Civil War. By the 1970s, they brought that same philosophy to the highway: build it tough, build it to last, and make sure it earns its keep. The Transstar 4300 Eagle was IH's answer to the long-haul market. High roofline, long conventional hood, the kind of cab that told you this truck meant business before you even turned the key. Independent owner-operators loved it. It had the look of a truck you owned, not just operated. And in the 1970s, when the independent trucker culture was at its peak, that mattered. CB radios, cross-country runs, and the pride of your name on the door. IH moved everything in that era. Agricultural equipment across the plains, industrial freight along the Great Lakes corridor, fuel up and down the eastern seaboard. The Transstar 4300 Eagle carried all of it with the kind of reliability that built a brand's reputation mile by mile. Before the WFT, 7242T, long-distance hauling in America was a brute force proposition. Heavy iron, heavy frames, heavy everything. And every pound the truck weighed was a pound you couldn't put in the trailer. Leland James of Consolidated Freightways had a different idea. He wanted a truck built for distance, lighter, more efficient, purpose-engineered for the long haul. What came out of Portland, Oregon changed the industry. The white Freightliner WFT, 7242T, was built around an aluminum cab at a time when everyone else was still using steel. It was lighter. It ran farther on the same fuel. It was the first truck in America that was designed from the ground up around the needs of coast-to-coast freight. The trucking companies that adopted it early understood something the others were slow to learn. The future of freight wasn't about power, it was about efficiency. The WFT, 7242T, didn't just carry loads across America. It showed America how long-haul trucking could actually work. Before the 359 became the legend, there was the 351. Peterbilt introduced the Model 351 in 1954, and it ran for over 2 decades, through the Eisenhower years, through the interstate highway construction boom, through the Kennedy era, and into the Vietnam years. It was there for all of it. Farmers in the San Joaquin Valley ran 351s to move cotton and almonds. Cattle operations in Texas used them to haul livestock across state lines. Logging operations in the Pacific Northwest counted on them to pull timber out of the mountains. The 351 was the truck that could be all things to all freight. That long aluminum hood, the distinctive square fenders, the cab that sat you up high enough to see everything coming. Peterbilt built them one at a time, each one handcrafted to the spec the customer ordered. That wasn't marketing. That was how it actually worked. 22 years in production, hundreds of thousands of miles per truck. The 351 earned every one of them. Mack Trucks built the R series with one idea in mind: nothing should stop it. The R600 launched in 1966 and became the benchmark for heavy-duty trucking in America for the next quarter century. Coal haulers in West Virginia ran them empty into the mountains and came out loaded every day for decades. Construction contractors across the country spec'd R600s because they knew what happened when you needed a truck and it didn't show up, and the Mack never made them find out. That square hood, the round headlights, the bulldog on the hood that said everything about what you were driving. The R600 wasn't pretty in any conventional sense, but it had a presence on the road that made every driver around it pay attention. Mack built the R600 for 24 years without fundamentally redesigning it. That's not stubbornness. That's confidence. When something works at that level, you don't change it. From the steel mills of Pittsburgh to the ports of Baltimore to the logging roads of the Pacific Northwest, the R600 went where other trucks thought twice about following. In 1961, Kenworth introduced a truck that would define what an American semi-truck was supposed to look like, and 60 years later, that design is still in production. The W900A, long nose, set back front axle, chrome everywhere it mattered. It was the truck that said you had made it as an owner-operator, the truck that showed up in the dreams of every driver who ever sat behind the wheel of something lesser and knew he wanted more. Kenworth built the W900 for the Western Mountains and the open plains. It was spec'd for drivers running from Seattle to Los Angeles, from Denver through the Rockies to Salt Lake City. Routes that punished trucks. Routes where you couldn't afford a breakdown because there was nobody coming to help you. The W900A carried grain out of the Pacific Northwest. It hauled refrigerated produce across the desert Southwest. It pulled flatbed loads of steel and lumber through every kind of weather the American West could produce. When people close their eyes and picture an American truck driver on the open road, the truck behind him is a W900. That's not an accident. That's 60 years of earning it. There is one truck in American history that crossed the line from machine into myth, and it did it by earning that status one load at a time, over 20 years of production, across every road in this country. Peterbilt introduced the Model 359 in 1967. Long aluminum hood, stainless steel cab, the kind of proportions that looked right from every angle. Drivers who sat in one for the first time didn't forget it. The 359 showed up in the grain harvest of Kansas in August. It came back in September with a load of beef out of Texas. By November, it was hauling lumber in Oregon. January put it on an icy pass in Colorado with a flatbed full of steel. The 359 never stopped. It never asked for a break. It just worked. It appeared in films. It became the face of the American trucker in popular culture. But that wasn't because Hollywood invented something. It's because Hollywood went looking for what the real thing looked like, and the 359 was always there. From 1967 to 1987, Peterbilt built the 359 as the premium option for the driver who wanted the best. The farms, the highways, the mountain passes, the desert runs, it did all of it. This is the truck that moved what no one else could. Across America, for 2 decades, without once letting anybody down. Number 1. The Peterbilt 359. 8 trucks. 8 different ways of carrying what America needed carried, across every kind of road, in every kind of weather, in every decade from the 1950s through the 1980s. They weren't monuments. They weren't celebrated. They showed up loaded and they came back empty, and they did it again the next day. That's what built this country, not the ceremonies, but the work. Which one did we miss? Drop it in the comments. There were a lot of great trucks out there, and we want to hear which one you think belongs on this list. If you learned something today, hit that like button. It helps more people find this channel. And if you want to see more American history told through the machines that actually built it, subscribe and you won't miss a single one. Built by America. We'll see you on the next one.